In the world of combat sports, there are few matchups that spark the kind of excitement that makes fans question reality. Imagine, for a moment, the ruthless power of a UFC legend colliding with the raw, unstoppable force of a WWE behemoth. The tension between the calculated, brash style of one of UFC's most famous champions and the intimidating, larger-than-life presence of a WWE icon creates an atmosphere unlike anything you've ever witnessed. This is not just a fight, it's a battle between two worlds, two colossal titans, and two distinct legacies. Conor McGregor, a name synonymous with charisma, confidence, and chaos, stands at the peak of mixed martial arts. Known for his precision, lightning-fast strikes, and unmatched mental warfare, McGregor's rise to fame is legendary. From his knockout victory over Jose Aldo to his unforgettable conquest of the lightweight division, McGregor redefined what it means to be a champion in the UFC. But beyond the cage, McGregor's mouth is just as sharp as his left hand, and his ability to trash talk, mind game, and manipulate the mental space of his opponents is a weapon he wields with brutal effectiveness. His fame transcends the sport, making him a global icon. Yet, as he faces the challenge of a lifetime in a matchup few would have ever predicted, the question looms: can McGregor's finesse overcome the raw, relentless power of an unstoppable force like Brock Lesnar? On the other side of this confrontation stands Brock Lesnar, a WWE legend whose mere presence sends shockwaves through the arena. With his immense frame and unparalleled strength, Lesnar has conquered multiple worlds from the UFC octagon to the wrestling ring. As a UFC heavyweight champion, Lesnar displayed terrifying athleticism and power, dispatching opponents with brutal force. But it was in the WWE where Lesnar truly became a mythical figure. With an unearthly persona, an unmatched ability to dominate, and a legacy that few can challenge, Lesnar is more than just a man, he's a force of nature. While McGregor thrives on precision, speed, and a sharp tongue, Lesnar's game is all about crushing his opponents under his weight, smashing them with overwhelming brute force. As the two of them stare across the ring or octagon, the stage is set for a showdown that transcends the usual boundaries of competition. This isn't a standard match, it's an encounter that blends two distinct worlds of combat. McGregor's experience in the octagon might be unparalleled, but Lesnar's size, strength, and unpredictable nature could prove to be an insurmountable challenge. The question isn't just who is better, it's about who can adapt to the other's style, who can impose their will in this strange new battleground, and who will emerge victorious when their respective legacies are on the line. This fight is more than just a clash of styles, it's a battle for the ages, one that pits raw athleticism against refined technique. Will McGregor's signature striking be enough to evade the crushing power of Lesnar's wrestling? Or will Lesnar's overwhelming presence and power prove to be too much for even the notorious Irishman to handle? The stakes couldn't be higher, and the world is waiting for the moment these two giants collide. But as the countdown to the fight continues, there's more at play than just physical strength and skill. McGregor's trash talk has already ignited a firestorm, getting under Lesnar's skin in ways few have ever managed. But will Lesnar's silence be his secret weapon? Is he letting the mind games build until the perfect moment to unleash chaos? And just as the fight draws closer, the question remains: which world will come out on top, the finesse of McGregor's calculated strikes or the sheer dominance of Lesnar's brute force? The anticipation is building, the tension is palpable, and the clock is ticking down to what will undoubtedly be one of the most explosive and unpredictable fights in combat sports history. Will McGregor live up to his reputation and take down the beast, or will Lesnar show the world that no one, not even a UFC champion, is safe from his destruction? The stage is set, the fighters are ready, and the outcome is hanging in the balance. As these two legends prepare to enter the arena, there's only one question on everyone's mind: who will stand tall when the dust settles, and who will be left broken in their wake? Tune in, because you won't want to miss what happens next. The world of combat sports has seen its fair share of legendary matchups, but nothing quite like this. As the date of the fight draws near, the hype continues to intensify. Fans across the globe are divided, each side fiercely defending their chosen champion. On one side, you have McGregor's die-hard followers, who believe his striking precision and unshakable confidence make him unbeatable. They chant his name in bars, in gyms, on social media, believing wholeheartedly that McGregor can outsmart and outfight any man, no matter how big or strong. But there's another side to this narrative. A dark, intimidating, and almost mythical presence on the other end, Brock Lesnar. Lesnar's rise to stardom wasn't like most wrestlers. His brute strength, athleticism, and dominant nature made him a beast in the WWE, but it was his brief but successful UFC run that truly elevated his status. When Lesnar transitioned from wrestling to MMA, no one knew what to expect. His first fight in the UFC was a spectacle in itself, but when he won the heavyweight title, defeating Randy Couture in just his fourth professional MMA fight, the world took notice. Lesnar wasn't just a wrestler, he was a juggernaut that demanded respect in every arena. His explosive power and raw aggression were unmatched, but his mind games, his ability to make people second-guess their every move, were just as dangerous. But while Lesnar was a force in the ring, McGregor's rise to the top was far different. McGregor came into the UFC with a brash attitude, an unmatched sense of belief, and a precise skill set that many thought would falter under the pressure of the world's best fighters. Instead, he made a statement. His quick knockout of Jose Aldo, a 10-year undefeated champion, is still regarded as one of the greatest moments in UFC history. McGregor didn't just fight with power, he fought with a purpose, using his sharp mind to break down his opponents before they ever stepped into the cage. He mastered the art of mental warfare, and with every fight, his following grew. His trash talking, his self-confidence, and his mastery of mind games turned him into one of the most well-known athletes in the world. Now, the stakes are higher than ever. But as the match between McGregor and Lesnar approaches, the stakes become personal. Behind the scenes, there are whispers that Lesnar has grown tired of McGregor's antics. There are rumors that, after years of staying silent, Lesnar is preparing to break his silence with a vengeance. McGregor, ever the provocateur, has taunted Lesnar endlessly, making jokes about his WWE career, his size, and his lack of technical finesse. He has painted Lesnar as nothing more than a pro wrestler with no real fighting pedigree. But Lesnar, who's been known to keep his emotions under wraps, has begun to crack. His silence speaks volumes, and those who know him best say that he's quietly seething, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Will he be able to keep his cool until the fight, or will McGregor's insults push him over the edge before they ever step foot in the ring? There's more at play here than just two athletes preparing for a showdown. The match between McGregor and Lesnar has become a global spectacle, with fans on both sides heavily invested in the outcome. McGregor's team has been known for their media manipulation, and the way they've marketed his persona has only fueled the fire. McGregor has not only turned the fight into a spectacle, but he's also turned it into a financial goldmine. His mind games extend beyond the ring, creating an entire ecosystem of hype and anticipation. For him, this is another business move, another chance to cash in on the spectacle of a fight. But will his arrogance cost him in the end? Meanwhile, Lesnar's camp remains a mystery. Few people know exactly what goes on behind closed doors when Lesnar trains, but one thing is certain, his approach is far from conventional. While McGregor spends hours perfecting his striking, his precision, and his mental warfare, Lesnar is preparing for a war of attrition. His training involves grueling hours in the gym, lifting massive amounts of weight, and pushing his body to the brink of exhaustion. But there's one thing that separates Lesnar from McGregor, one thing that could very well be his greatest weapon, his unpredictability. Unlike McGregor, who thrives on control, Lesnar thrives on chaos. He is a fighter who relishes in the uncertainty of battle. His presence is a looming shadow, always there, always unpredictable, and never backing down from a challenge. The deeper you dive into the story, the more you realize that this fight is about much more than who is the better fighter. It's about legacy, pride, and the difference between calculated precision and raw, unfiltered aggression. As the weeks leading up to the fight continue, both men are starting to show cracks in their armor. McGregor, known for his ability to control the narrative, is beginning to show signs of frustration as Lesnar refuses to engage with him on his terms. On the other hand, Lesnar's stoic silence is beginning to feel less like strategy and more like a brewing storm. But as the world watches, an unexpected twist begins to emerge. Rumors swirl that McGregor, who has been dominant in the media leading up to the fight, has started to feel the pressure of his own hype. Those close to him suggest that the weight of the spectacle may be starting to eat at his confidence. Is McGregor's bravado a facade? Is the reality of facing someone like Lesnar starting to chip away at his notorious mental strength? Meanwhile, Lesnar, typically the one who cracks under pressure, seems more composed than ever. Could this be his time to silence the critics once and for all? As the fight draws nearer, the question remains, when McGregor and Lesnar finally face off, will it be McGregor's precision that wins the day, or will it be Lesnar's brute force that reigns supreme? The world is about to witness a battle unlike any before. But as the tension grows and the date approaches, one thing is certain: the true story is only just beginning. The intensity continues to build as the day of the fight nears, but something strange begins to unfold in the weeks leading up to the highly anticipated showdown between McGregor and Lesnar. Despite all the trash talking and media hype, there's a palpable shift in both camps. McGregor, once the cocky showman, is seen in rare moments of quiet contemplation. Some insiders claim he's spending more time on his own, cutting down on media appearances, and focusing purely on his training. His team, usually outspoken and brash, has taken a more reserved approach. The mental warfare that has long been McGregor's weapon is suddenly muted, and this shift has fans questioning everything. Is he preparing for something big? Or is the pressure of facing a monster like Lesnar finally beginning to get to him? Meanwhile, on the other side, Lesnar's camp is buzzing with activity, but not the kind of activity you'd expect from the quiet giant. There are rumors that Lesnar is not only training harder than ever, but is secretly working with a new coach, a figure from his past who knows the ins and outs of McGregor's style. This coach is said to have spent years studying McGregor's fights, and sources claim that he's teaching Lesnar a new, more refined approach to the fight. The idea of Brock Lesnar, a man who has thrived on pure strength and chaos, now working on technique and precision, throws the entire narrative into chaos. If Lesnar has truly learned how to move with calculated grace, could he be the one to outsmart McGregor at his own game? The balance of power seems to be shifting. But just when it seems like both fighters are starting to play their cards close to the chest, a shocking revelation shakes the foundations of the fight. During a routine training session, McGregor is seen leaving the gym with an unusual limp. The rumor mill explodes. Has McGregor sustained an injury? Early reports suggest a potential knee issue, but the details remain unclear. McGregor's team quickly denies it, but the whispers grow louder. Could this be a brilliant move on McGregor's part, a calculated attempt to throw Lesnar off? Or could this injury be a game changer, a flaw that Lesnar's camp will exploit to its advantage? With the stakes higher than ever, the added complexity of McGregor's injury throws a new wrinkle into the story. As fans debate whether McGregor is faking the injury for the media attention or if he's truly vulnerable, the tension only escalates. There are those who believe McGregor's game plan is to draw Lesnar into a false sense of confidence. If Lesnar believes that McGregor is injured, will he become overzealous, rushing in with his typical brute force? And what if McGregor is playing mind games yet again, showing weakness to lure Lesnar into a trap? The line between truth and deception has never been so blurred. On the flip side, Lesnar's quiet demeanor only deepens the mystery. He has been seen in a new light, working closely with his team, never once acknowledging the rumors about McGregor's injury. Instead, Lesnar's focus seems sharper than ever. His team is all in, knowing that they're facing an opponent who can never be underestimated, even when he's wounded. Yet, a few cryptic messages from Lesnar's camp suggest that there's something more at play, a hidden strategy that could catch McGregor completely off guard. Is Lesnar hiding something? Is there more to this quiet training than meets the eye? As the final days before the fight approach, the narrative surrounding McGregor and Lesnar becomes a whirlwind of speculation, secrets, and mind games. McGregor's injury, whether real or part of a larger strategy, has already shifted the balance in Lesnar's favor. But as McGregor's camp remains tight-lipped about the details, the world begins to ask, what if McGregor has more tricks up his sleeve than anyone realizes? Could the injury be an elaborate ruse to bait Lesnar into making a fatal mistake? In the midst of all this drama, a new and unexpected player enters the scene. A third fighter, someone not originally linked to either camp, steps forward with a shocking announcement. They've been approached by both McGregor and Lesnar to offer their expertise. This mysterious figure, known only to insiders as a former UFC champion with a deep understanding of both fighters' strengths and weaknesses, claims to have been in communication with both teams. What could this mean for the upcoming fight? Is this person acting as a mediator, or are they planting the seeds for a more sinister plot? And why have both McGregor and Lesnar allowed someone else into their camps just days before the fight? The mystery of this third figure casts an even deeper shadow over an already volatile situation. Fans, media outlets, and insiders scramble to figure out who this individual is and what role they might play in the fight. Are they helping McGregor perfect his strategy? Or are they teaching Lesnar a hidden technique to break through McGregor's defenses? The answer to these questions remains unclear, but one thing is certain: the fight between McGregor and Lesnar has become something much bigger than anyone could have anticipated. It's no longer just about two athletes fighting for supremacy, it's become a psychological battle, a war of strategy, deception, and hidden alliances. As the fight looms closer, the tension is nearly unbearable. The world is watching, waiting, unsure of what to expect. Will McGregor rise to the occasion, overcoming his potential injury and proving once again that his mind games can outwit even the most powerful of opponents? Or will Lesnar unleash a level of chaos and power that McGregor cannot counter, leaving the UFC legend broken and defeated in front of the world? The clock is ticking, and the world is holding its breath. The time for talk is over. In just a few days, McGregor and Lesnar will finally face off, and everything, their legacies, their pride, and their futures will be decided in one brutal, unforgiving clash. But as the final countdown begins, one question remains: who will truly emerge victorious when the smoke clears? The night of the fight finally arrives. The tension that has been building for months reaches its peak, and the atmosphere is electric, buzzing with anticipation. The arena is packed, every seat filled with eager fans, their eyes glued to the octagon where McGregor and Lesnar are about to collide in what could be the most explosive fight in combat sports history. The world is watching, and everything is on the line. McGregor enters first, his usual swagger on display as he paces around the cage. His eyes are sharp, his demeanor focused, but there's a noticeable difference in the air and uncertainty that wasn't there before. The injury, the rumors, the mind games. It's clear that the weight of the moment is getting to him. Lesnar enters next, his massive frame cutting through the crowd's cheers with a sense of cold, calculated intensity. The usual roar of the WWE faithful is absent, replaced by an eerie silence. Lesnar isn't here to play games, he's here to prove something. His focus is unwavering, his eyes locked on McGregor as he steps into the cage. The size difference between the two is startling, and the contrast in their styles has never been more apparent. McGregor's finesse and agility, pitted against Lesnar's sheer, unrelenting power, creates an explosive dynamic that is palpable in the air. As the bell rings, McGregor starts with his usual style, dancing around, jabbing, trying to find his rhythm. He's quick, elusive, and his strikes are sharp, but Lesnar is unbothered. He moves with a surprising level of agility for someone his size, staying low, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. McGregor connects with a few solid hits, but Lesnar absorbs the blows without flinching. The fight is every bit as brutal as fans expected, with McGregor's precision facing off against Lesnar's relentless aggression. Then, just when it seems like McGregor might be gaining the upper hand, disaster strikes. As McGregor attempts a lightning-fast left hook, he stumbles, a grimace of pain crossing his face. The injury he's been hiding is no longer a secret. Lesnar seizes the opportunity, lunging forward with a massive takedown, slamming McGregor to the mat with terrifying force. The crowd erupts in shock as Lesnar begins to ground and pound, his fists raining down like a storm. McGregor fights back, struggling to escape, but the pain in his knee is too much. His movements are slower, more labored, and Lesnar's power seems to grow with every strike. For a moment, it looks like Lesnar will dominate the fight entirely. But then, just as McGregor appears to be on the verge of defeat, something unexpected happens. McGregor, battered and bruised, taps into a reservoir of grit that has defined his entire career. With a burst of energy, he manages to slip out from under Lesnar's grasp, regaining his footing with a move that shocks everyone. It's as if McGregor has drawn from every ounce of his experience, every moment of his fighting spirit, to make one final push. The crowd is on their feet, roaring in disbelief. McGregor, with his knee still clearly injured, manages to land a stunning counterpunch, catching Lesnar off guard. The strike is clean, sharp, and precise, just like the McGregor the world has come to know. Lesnar stumbles back, disoriented. It's now McGregor's turn to press forward, his footwork slick, his strikes landing with precision. Lesnar, overwhelmed for the first time in the fight, tries to regain his composure, but McGregor's relentless assault is too much. The tide has shifted, and it's McGregor who's now dictating the pace. The injury that seemed like it would be his downfall is now fueling his resilience, driving him to dig deeper than ever before. But just as McGregor is closing in on victory, an incredible twist occurs. Just as he readies himself for a finishing blow, the mysterious third fighter, the one who had been working behind the scenes with both teams, emerges from the crowd. With a motion that seems almost preordained, the figure enters the octagon, stepping between McGregor and Lesnar just as McGregor's fist swings toward the stunned Lesnar. The crowd gasps in unison, as the fighter stands there blocking McGregor's punch with a calm, almost peaceful demeanor. The fighter is none other than a retired MMA champion, known for his neutral stance and legendary career, someone with ties to both McGregor and Lesnar, but who has always remained out of the spotlight. His presence is a shock to everyone, and even McGregor and Lesnar seem momentarily frozen, unsure of how to react. The figure, with a single glance toward both fighters, holds up his hand, signaling the referee to halt the fight. The arena falls into a stunned silence as the fighter addresses both competitors. "This fight was never meant to be a spectacle," he says, his voice calm but authoritative. "It was meant to remind you both why you fight. It's about legacy, respect, and the understanding that no one is invincible." In that moment, the true meaning of the fight is revealed, not just about who would win, but about what it takes to stand at the pinnacle of combat sports. McGregor and Lesnar, exhausted and broken, exchange a silent understanding. The animosity between them begins to fade, replaced by a recognition of the journey both have undertaken to reach this point. The fight is called off, not due to injury or failure, but because it's clear that the spectacle has overshadowed the true spirit of competition. As McGregor and Lesnar stand side by side, the tension in the arena dissipates, replaced by a new sense of respect. In the end, neither man can claim total victory, but both walk away knowing that the fight itself was a lesson in strength, resilience, and the cost of living up to the hype.